Tonight at 9:30pm GMT, I will be doing a response to Prime Minister's questions on the Cthulhu-Kin and Friends show. I have a sneaky feeling it will centre mostly around the deal Theresa May is now trying to spend the next 2 weeks selling to the public and to MPs, which I don't believe will get through Commons vote. There also might be some covering of the recent failings of the NHS, most notably in Wales, but Brexit is quite a big deal, some MPs going so far as to talk about how this is the single most important vote of their political careers. The deal that is. Which gives me a perfect opportunity to insert a clip I heard while listening in the background to a stream called The Open House, where one of the geniuses on the show said this.
So there was this article who basically said that Theresa May would go to war to protect Gibraltar. And now it's Brexit. You're gonna go to war against another NATO country. It's like, no, Britain, this isn't somebody, this is literally your ally.
We need to leave Europe so we can go to war with it.
Okay, fine. I mean, I hope you like. I hope to go. Yeah, I hope you like getting invaded. Then we'll have a lot of fun when we occupy you.
I'm literally considering being Spanish.
With this EU army, supposing it is an EU army or whatever it is, I just hope we get invaded, because I will love the Mogs talking about how, we can fight them off, we fought off the Germans, and we'll probably have help from NATO, to which NATO will go, well, the EU goes to NATO and say, hey, do you want to help us invade? Sure!
I present it to you without comment, because I don't truly believe I need to present one for such retardedness. Oh wait, that's a comment. Never mind. Now the subject of today's video is one that kinda baffles me. It should fall into the bracket of incorrect sentencing, and to be honest, I think it is. But I'm not going to do this in my typical judge outfit, because I'm baffled by this. As many of you know, this happened. Without context, it's just a man with a zombie knife slamming it into a car window. Apparently context does matter in this case. Sorry, Dankula, but your white privilege ensured that you wouldn't be given a fair trial because context means jack shit in your instance. But in this case, it does matter, which still presents a rather unusual dilemma. You see, this is Joshua Gardner. Joshua Gardner pulled out the zombie knife in question on London Road in broad daylight earlier this year. Now, he was on a bicycle, he wielded a knife, and he rushed towards the car. Gardner at the time was 17, recently turned 18, repeatedly hit the driver's window, and then heads to the other side and smashes the front passenger side window, which then forced the driver of the vehicle to flee on foot. Understandably, no one stopped the knife-wielding idiot. And I call him that now because now I'm going to mention what happened in court. He was found guilty of attempting to cause grievous bodily harm with intent in relation to the incident. He had previously pled guilty to a fray and being in possession of an offensive weapon. I'll be honest, if he had made contact with the person with that knife, that wouldn't be GBH. That would be attempted murder. That knife is banned for a reason. There are many investigations that should surely take place, like how the feck he managed to get his hands on one in the first place. Why on earth he felt the need to carry it, I'm assuming because he gangster, yo. He's OG Loke, everyone.
Hey, it's OG Loke, homie, and I'ma kick a little something like this. Hey, yo, when I come through up in the place, you don't want me to come with a gun in your face. I spit it harder than anybody in the world could do. It's like
sucks. Damn.
But also how other factors, context, somehow managed to downplay the sentence. He was due to be sentenced at the Old Bailey on Monday, but the hearing was instead adjourned until Tuesday. and at the hearing, Judge Foreign QC, who became the first non-white circuit judge who gives a fuck, sentenced Gardner to 2 years for attempting to cause GBH with intent, 1 year for a fray and 1 year for being in possession of an offensive weapon. These will run concurrently, which means a total sentence of 2 years. Crucial part of this is that the sentence was suspended for 2 years. As part of his sentence, Gardner was also given a rehabilitation activity requirement of up to 20 hours, a thinking skills program of 19 hours, 150 hours of unpaid work, 5 weeks, a curfew, which means he is unable to leave his home between 7 PM and 9 AM, lasting 9 months.
Well, that's me, homie. That's me. OG Low, baby.
I personally, and I'm going to state it now, disagree with this sentence wholeheartedly, but context matters. So now we need to understand why he was given such a lenient sentence, which somehow justifies him using a knife and taking justice into his own hands. And by justice I mean attempted murder. Judge Foreign said the information and contents in the pre-sentence report and probation report played an important role in the sentence. In the probation report, the judge revealed that between March 26th and April 2nd this year, Gardner was kidnapped at gunpoint by a gang over a friend's drug debt, before being forced to sell drugs to pay off the debt. One can surmise then that he gave information to the police, which proved invaluable to the point where a lenient sentence was given. According to the judge, he was bundled into a car and threatened with a gun because of a drug debt one of his friends had run up. He was kept against his will for 10 days and made to sell drugs to work off the debt. The court heard that some of the information has been corroborated by police who have described the account as credible and accurate. In the report, the probation officer points to the kidnapping as a reason Gardner had been carrying the huge zombie knife at the time of the attack on the car. Isn't it a truly sorry state of affairs that for one to be able to get from A to B, to go and hang with their homies?
Hey, fuck you, man. And I don't care what you heard. I ain't nobody's ass technician, bitch.
To go and bang some skets. I'm woke, yo. Isn't it a sorry state of affairs that for a 17-year-old, he had to pay off someone else's debt because of guilt by association, and then felt the need to carry that blade? That is a monstrous blade to be carrying around, just for one's protection. Although based on how he attacked the car window with it, I don't think he stands much of a chance against a person. He's a bit limp-wristed with it. Might I recommend buying one of those rollerblading straps people have with a piece of plastic on the wrist so it doesn't bend? It helps you in the long run achieve a far better goal of, well, attempted murder. Rather unsurprisingly with what has happened, there's been a bit of a fallout. Many on Twitter mocking this, because they think it is genuinely an absolute affront to justice. I do, however, understand the subtlety between someone giving information to help tackle gang-related crime, so that they themselves, well, it's self-preservation really, isn't it? Although at the same time, now that his name and face are out there and he's 18, he's going to forever be known as a grass. Not entirely something you want associated with your name, or your face. And considering how certain gangs, and many people in fact, operate, they don't appreciate it when a grass is in their midst.
And who have we under here?
OG Low!
Oh, let me guess. No one saw how this happened. I suppose you tripped.
Man, what you think?
You're about to grass, are you?
Hey, man!
There's one thing no one likes. It's a grass.
Rather interestingly, defense lawyer Mark Stevens told the court his client was thoroughly ashamed of himself and for the pain he had put his family through. His mother is really looking forward to moving away from the area. It is a completely different borough. He was 17 at the time, and I would urge the court to sentence him as if he were a 17-year-old. I can understand that. Understand wanting to give a child a second chance. However, there are eyewitness accounts that state he was smirking when he was being sentenced, as if he had gotten away with actually committing a crime, which he had. But I do simultaneously understand why it is important to tackle gang crimes. Sometimes you have to make compromises. Of course, if I were in charge as a judge, and I mean this kind of judge, right, I would simply sentence him and that's it. Maybe give him a lesser term, but it would still be custodial. Another thing of interest that has happened since this all went down is that the Attorney General's office has been contacted to review this lenient sentence at the Court of Appeal, which means there is still a chance that senior judges can decide whether to increase the original sentence, for example by adding another custodial term to it, whether they suspend that as well and make it equally concurrent. I am not sure, but I do want to know what you all think. He committed a crime with a knife that is banned in this country. His intent was to let go of his rather teenage angsty rage for being put through a rather difficult situation by pursuing his own form of justice upon someone else because of the circumstances he was put in because of somebody else. Do you think they were right in the sentence they administered, or do you believe he should have gotten a different sentence? If so, please tell me what you think in the comments below. So I hope you all have a lovely Wednesday, and thank you all for listening.